I honor benevolent beings in the cosmos for watching here on Blooming Truth Now. It's probably said something like from blooming light to blooming truth. Okay, I'm not sure if I changed it here yet. Um, but anywho, honor all decent, benevolent beings in the cosmos, in this simulation, multiverse, and the blah 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 blah. If you are watching, okay, whether you're watching live or whether you're just seeing it whenever you do see it, and my apologies because you can't see the entire statement. So I'm going to read the entire statement, what this video is all about, okay? It says, self-awareness is not a permanent station. It's not a permanent state of being. It is a conscious mindfulness practice. Then it says energetic hygiene is not a permanent state of being. It is a conscious choice of disciplinary care, like showering. Okay? Viewer discretion is advised. I am not an expert. There is no cookie cut one, stop shop rule in this thing called life, if you ask me. Okay? None of us got this whole thing figured out. There's way too many variables, way too much to this life that it's foolish, naive, arrogant, gullible, and everything egotistical of us to really truly think that any of us got it all figured out. That there's, and that's just me. So that's why I said your discretion is advised. This is what I want, my stance, my take, my experience that is ever expanding with every breath I take, with every day, with it just naturally happening. Okay, so I'm going to read the statement again because you can't see it properly, and it's a statement that I created. So I said in this statement that I created, it says self-awareness is not, emphasis on that not, is not a permanent state of being. It is a conscious mindfulness practice. Now let's sit on that, because if you're anything like me, at some point in the game, you get tired of hearing statements and sayings. And the reason why we get tired of it, because it's too fucking easy. All you got to do nowadays is copy and paste some shit. You don't even got to be smart. Okay? It's just too fucking easy to do. You sit up, look at something, and then here it is trending. Somebody that said something, and now everybody and their mama saying it. Okay? So I also like to break things down because it helps, my opinion again, it helps us to make sense of it as it pertains to real life. Life, regular, routine, everyday, mundane life that nobody is getting to see the reels on social media. Okay? The guts and gory, the ugly and the glory. You know what I'm saying? All and everything and in between. When something, because life is not a PowerPoint presentation. It's messy. It's inconvenient. It's mixed with all sorts of variables. And it's not controlled. We like to believe, yeah, good luck with that. It's not controlled and streamlined the way we want it to be. Okay? So, to help us make practical sense of the first half of the statement, okay, I'm going to break them down. Sometimes we'll hear statements like somebody is a very self-aware person, or they are, trying to give language to something, and they are enlightened, they're self-aware, and we're trying to imply that they, whoever we're referencing, they have an ability to discern their own actions, or they are reflective in some way. They have an ability to look at their state of being, their choices, their words, their attitude, their demeanors, their everything. We're implying when we say something like that. Not just that they have a wealth of knowledge and factoids and statements that they've collected over the years. Okay? We're implying that there's something about them that has that. Okay, but why? What kind of practice that's required for that? We're humans. It's not a permanent station. And it does not mean that because it's not a permanent station, that means there's some kind of an indication that there's a lack on our side of it. No. The reason why it's not a permanent station is because of the nature of the assimilation. Because of the nature of this life and this reality. It can't be a permanent station. We're dealing with too much. We're dealing with too many factors. Life as we know it here. The conditions, what we came predispositioned with if we haven't been actually actively working with that. There's too many things. Some of us got 1,000 kids. Good luck with just automatically, nigga, being, come on, man. Come on. And that's not a slight. There are people that take offense to many things, but that is not even meant to be offensive. It's not a slight. You're human. I'm human. We're human. Hello. Good luck with that. You got more tasks than you do in a 24-hour cycle of the simulation. Good luck with that. If you see what I'm saying? That's why I'm referencing in this way. And you're colliding and clashing with other humans and all their shit. So the choice, now here's the fun part. Here's the interesting part. Here's the good part, because this is not doom. This is not what this video is. This ain't you against them, me against them, doom. This is not this video. Here's the good part. Well, first and foremost, if you are somebody who you recognize that it's not a permanent station, and because you recognize that it's something that you are some kind of way implementing for yourself. You may not be doing this perfectly, but because of you being aware, that self-awareness is not a permanent station or a permanent state of being, you are then now actively making a conscious choice, decision to in somehow, shape, form, or fashion in your life. You are carving it in, bitch. You're doing abracadabra, bitch. You're doing something. Because at the end of the day, you realize, like, bitch, to yourself, you know what I'm saying? You know, bitch, nigga, look, nigga. Self-reflection. And it doesn't have to look all new agey. You know, I know we get these images of what this stuff is supposed to be like and look like. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying we need to be in Tibet or we need to have on some special. I'm just saying it's a space in which it's not just for sleep. It's not just for, you know, beauty day. It's not just for, it is a space. It's not an escape. It's actually the total opposite. A space that you give space to clear out the distractions of life. Distractions doesn't necessarily mean bad always. I know we tend to associate that word with that, but distraction could simply be just life. I just gave an example of, you know, beings who got 1,000 children. Yeah, that's not a bad thing. They just, whoever it is, they are wearing many hats. They're having to do a lot. They have a lot on them. A lot. Okay? It's a lot. So those are distractions in its benevolent form. This ain't like, ooh, the devil, and ooh, no. Those are, you know, because these are responsibilities. This is life. Okay, now these individuals or whoever is taking this practice, well, listen, I don't care if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. This ain't about creating some other cult and some other religion to have to pretend to live by. This is finding a way to decompress without escapism or addiction. Because, I mean, we all fall into this category. Ain't none of us, and I mean this with all niceness and kindness, including myself. None of us escape this. Not here. Whether it is you or somebody who could just simply, you go for walks, and in that time you're not scrolling in your social media, you're not, you know, looking for a distraction. In that time you're giving a mindful choice, because it's mindful. It's not going to be willy-nilly. It's not going to just flop into, oh, I feel like, no, it's a choice that is an actual, it's active. And we all need it. Maybe need might not be the right language. I'm just saying that it's not a permanent station. I can't go around with my black ass. Okay, come get out the cut off khaki spring braids out, you bitch. It's hurt. Okay. I can't, it doesn't serve me, rather. To go around in life, all highfalutin life, and waving my judgy hand and judgy nose finger at motherfuckers, and I'm not even self-aware on my own shit. It doesn't serve me. It serves me and humanity, actually, because the better version of me I become, the more of a jackass I be, the less of a jackass I be. Hold on, guys. Woo, because the phone is, hold the telephone. Huh? Let me hear it up. Okay. So, and again, it's not something perfectly done, but it helps me connect to myself, you know, give space to clear the air, clear the distractions, and you know, without the labels and attachment and the judgment. So it's not me trying to find a reason to beat up myself some more for what I'm not and what I am and what I wish I was. That's the problem with humanity now. It's like, okay, I'm not perfect. Okay, I missed. I can't see it all 24/7. I have 1,000 kids. There's no way, motherfucker, that I can see it all, that I can perceive it all, that I can catch it all in every now and moment. And when I say all, not all about what everybody else, that I can catch it all about my black ass. I can't. The universal law of nose blindness. Can't smell my own poop all the time. Don't mean I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean that I'm not as smart or gifted or spiritual or enlightened or whatever language my scripting and programming is dictating this year. It simply means that I am human in a chaotic world. So it helps me, and it helps anyone that I ever, because I'm somebody who is making a conscious choice to give myself space for it. So not to escape myself, not to escape life, but to come into myself and to evaluate self from a non-judgment space, but also for clearing. Sometimes they didn't even tell us that we're picking up stuff. And nobody told us none of this. It's depending on what your culture is, your background is, and your exposure is. But if you're anything like me and you got anything similar and such, nobody told our black asses none. And we assumed that it was either something inherently wrong with us, or we assume that it's, everything, something that it's not. And then we go about, and if we were aware, like, oh, just from a non-judgment space, from an energy space, a vibration space, from that space, not the devil and, all of that stuff and me versus them and all of that, but more from, it's a possibility because we have all these variables in life. Oh, were you in a crowded space for long periods of time? And that's a whole lot of energy with a whole lot of convolution there. Is it possible? It ain't about what somebody intentionally did. It's just told us that we can energetically pick up stuff that could, as a byproduct, cause you to to convolute your energy, cause you to think and feel and perceive certain kind of ways, blase. Nobody told us that. The mindful practice, the conscious practice helps to address that. Even though you're not going in thinking that's what you're doing, but it helps. Now, I would like to give an example of, if you can reflect on any moment of time where you felt like you were at your best. Any moment of time where you felt like you felt the best that you've ever felt from the inside out. Any moment in time where you felt more settled. Okay? It wasn't no chaos, bitch. No crazy shit, bitch. It was just, you felt. Now, if you can snapshot that moment of time, if you're able to grab a memory from there, a regular, it doesn't have to be monumental, just regular shit, a regular ordinary day, your ordinary life, if you're a parent, if you are a husband, wife, if you are whatever it is that you have been, but now you're going to grab a snippet from there. And let's say everything else is as it always been. The only difference is you. Now, I'm willing to go on the limb, and to be honest, but you have to find your space and see if you do that. When that's me, I can tell you that there's less in my day-to-day, the same shit that I've been dealing with for 32 years. I am less triggered. I am less aggravated. I am less annoyed. I am less testy. I am more practical, fair, and grounded in my approach. Even with all of the other things being the same, versus when I feel like I'm not myself, or I'm feeling grounded and it's all kind of stuff. Now, my personality, and to a lot of the work, I may not be as flippant as a lot of people are. That's not to say anything good or bad one way or the other. I'm simply saying my natural temperament plays a role, but I'm still willing to go on the limb and say, yeah, but I am, yeah, bitch, I am more testy. I do say more, I say more sharp words, bitch. Yes, yes. Than I would do, bitch, if my ass was, and that's the truth. It's the truth. And you know why I can say it? There's the self-awareness practice. I'm not beating myself up, neither should you. Not if you're somebody, you know what I'm saying, that's like really sincere, and you're somebody, it's like, oh, because we're humans. Tendency to take out our things subconsciously, you know, common. It's not. It has to come out somewhere, and the places that's going to get it is going to be the weakest places. That's again a human thing. You know, ain't nobody gonna go to their job and get too snippy and out of hand with the motherfucker who hand them the paycheck. Nobody. Now, some people may leave it, and some people may say some stuff, but you see, there's a level of control there, and that's because, okay, yeah, you're feeling some kind of way, but you got bills. So, what tends closest to us, and the people that are that we feel like we can get away with it with. But the self-awareness practice is something that for every last one of us could be something that is assisting us every day. Now, when I was on the religious journey, now this is where this part's getting fun, where I've blended a lot of things, you know, the things that we were taught, what it was supposed to be versus what people made it to be. You know, you were supposed to be setting the stage for your black ass was supposed to be getting that bitch, you know, and it's you're supposed to be, if you got to go to work, and then see, and this was my life. I can talk like this for a reason. If you got to go to work, your job, you need to be there at 9. Okay, because it's supposed to be relationship, not religion, right? Okay. Now, you're supposed to be at work at 9. You're supposed to get up and spend time. Huh? Some of us had prayer rooms that we created. We created, you know, stations and stuff like that, set up all that good old stuff. And so that you can spur. Huh? Huh? It was supposed to be, you know, from the most, I'm going to space of all of that, it was not just about going down a religious checklist of look at my spiritual superiority. My black ass then been in this here in the Shekinahs for 2 hours, bitch, and what have you done? You know, that's not what it's supposed to be about. It was really about your own spirit. Oh. Uh-oh. It was about aligning yourself, and the terms that we used in that sector was getting out of the flesh, okay? To get your flesh under subjection, because you're going to go to work and deal with the devil. Devil meaning those the devil is using, meaning those who we thought was operating in the flesh, meaning whoever and whatever it is, something to prompt and test you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, You're supposed to be setting the tone for your day so that you can walk in the spirit. So that anything that is stuck to you from the previous day, anything that you're, sounds very similar, huh? When you come from a benevolent space and look at it from its core foundation versus the bullshit that we didn't all played into. Spiritual and religious Olympics and shit. It's about you, which is another word for what? Mindfulness practice. Because we're not, there's no one-stop shop. It's not, I said the Lord's Prayer and that's it and that's that and that's all. It's not, I did a mantra and I should be good to go. Everything is fluid. Energy is ever shifting. We're engaging. Setting the stage gives us a stronger foundation, which gives us a different perception. And I used to test this, y'all. I used to test it then, and I test it now. I used to test this. The times where I didn't give myself the space, it was like I was more agitated. Then, it's not that I didn't have any agitation, but it was significantly less even when I experienced very similar situations and incidences. It ain't magic. It's the energy had been vibration, resonance, biofield, mind, all of it had been tapped, addressed on some level. So what does that potentially make you and me when we're folk? That makes us supreme candidates, for health. I'm gonna let me phrase it this way: for reciprocal, healthy, like-minded connections, because it can be exploited. We talk about this on a lot of other videos. You all are seeing a lot of that in social media, because if you got somebody with that and then the others, then the person with the enlightenment and all that, they often take on the brunt of a lot in compensation for folks who aren't. Even if they don't know it or consciously, it's the fact that you got one person that that's doing some kind of mindfulness practice, the other one that's just, they feel they right bitch then. Then so then that's really not a fair dynamic. But the relationships that we are choosing, I'm gonna rephrase, on a more intimate and up close and hold on. Okay, my apologies. My phone went dead. So once again, my My apologies. Right when I was talking about, how I noticed the difference in the various paths I've been on, and it's just another way of saying somebody that takes the time, if that's what they're doing, if it's not about some kind of rigid, ritualized, I'm saying, oh, this is, look how spiritual I am. Look at me, spiritual, look at, look at me be saved and all that. No, when it's really about the inner work, the connecting, then for healthy, because you got, somebody that can do that, you're about 50% ahead of the game there. Okay, you're not going to be the brunt of the stick all the time. You're not going to be the one that's wrong all the time. You're not going to be the one that's trying to compensate for somebody's seemingly lack of understanding all the time. You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to be doing that. It's going to be something that is like, oh, okay, okay. It's not going to be an end-time apocalypse. It's not going to be a war zone. It's not going to be any of those things when you're dealing with, people who come together from maturation, who are practicing, because so say the being. It's not a confession in a confession booth. It's not a religion and belief up on the ballot list. It's not a bumper sticker. It's not a bookmark. It's not something so we can feel, better. Really? Okay, we'll see. In regular routine Monday, like, are we mature? Are we petty? Are we acting like 3-year-old tantrum children at 1,000? And the reason why we all fall prey to that, and I want to be clear, is because, like I said, life as we know it here. And if you don't have these things, and you're not self-aware about your own development, your own trauma, your own scripting, your own programming, your own bullshit, your own bias, can't smell your own poop. That goes for me too. I gave the example of how I'm more edgy, I'm more snappy, discipline seems to be more harsh than, you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have that, we have a tendency to drill, I'm telling you, everything becomes amplified, everything is magnified, and when we come from a calmer space and a more grounded space, we're even looking at it differently. Like, nigga, that wasn't even a nigga. It wasn't even all that. It wasn't even that deep. It wasn't even that deep. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, y'all see y'all saw my foot there? Them puppies need help, y'all. You heard? Anyway. But our perception is clouded. We make mountains out of molehills because we're on edge. And, even when it comes to in child rearing, I know many of you out there possibly I know some people went to college for that stuff and they took care of kids as their, careers, and, folks who have also equally had children, and then some people who have been forced to take like classes and stuff through the court system. But the point that I'm making is that they talk to you about disciplining your children when you're angry, the dangers of it. Because is it going to be, the discipline or something else on top of, and again, this is all of us. We don't always have that self-awareness about the fact that we have a wound to do with respect. we felt some kind of way about some stuff, and now some stuff that's just natural to life is coming off as disrespectful, or some things that may, somebody being assertive or a kid being some kind of way, there may be validity there, but it's about the severity. We are all vulnerable to this. There's no way out of it. And I'm trying to be careful here because I don't believe there's nobody that's an exception. Not me, not nobody else. We got to take the cycles of life. Some of us don't realize, you know, because again, we don't know. We're just romping through this thing called life, right? We don't realize we got whole witches, wizards, and warlocks going to town on us 24/7. We don't believe the shit's real, or that it exists, or that it could affect us, and it didn't fucking affected us, bitch. And we just think, oh, I'm crazy. Oh, I just have anxiety problems. No, you don't. One day you'll find out. With all due respect to the whole mental health community, you know, I understand where there's validity there, but as somebody who has learned about there's more to things than meets the eye, we don't know. So you got our energy that's convoluted. Well, that's what I'm talking about, this mindfulness practice. We convoluted, bitch. We don't know, bitch. All we know, which affects your, you know, your what? Okay. The mindfulness is going to possibly, for some of us, it's going to bring some of that, much like those of us that's been on the religious path that was really serious about it being a relationship and not a religion. We would all attest and say that in these times that we you know, are spending daily, that there was what? Revelations that seemed to come clear. Why? Because you're in a mind space. Be able to see something more clearly than you would just grumping about life, meeting folk, running here, running there, doing this, doing that. Shit show, rat race. And you go, oh, you know, okay, I was able to see that. Okay, whether this was, you know, about yourself and how you can adjust, and also as well as, you know, other people's perspectives or things that's operating, not for you to always action anything, but your awareness so that you can navigate accordingly. Not so you can get your bullhorn and say, you devils, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever you thought it was, because in that sector, you know, it was the devil, you know, everything was the devil, okay? It was the devil and the flesh and stuff, and then, you know, blah, blah, blah. Now, let's move on to the second part of the statement here, because I feel like I spent too much time and we got cut off, and again, my apologies. It says here, oh, y'all can't see the other part. Oh, energetic hygiene is not a permanent state of being. It is a conscious choice of disciplinary care, much like showering. Now, the reason why I added that is because, again, from a space of, you know, those who may believe in energetic hygiene practices, such as trying to clear negative energy, you know, whether that is from yourself, like your mind, body, and soul as a vessel, your avatar, you know, but your life your life, your space, your, those of us, okay, let's say you have a car, blah, blah, blah. The reference of showering is on this movie called Zootopia, the first one. When the bunny and the fox was on their investigation and they went to this like retreat place, and there was like the receptionist character, and these were like hippies and stuff, and his hair was matted, and he had like all of these flies, and they were like looking at him, and like it was a smell, there was flies, it was like all of that. Now it was cute, but it's not a judgment. It's not to say this is bad, this is bad. It's no, this is simply the byproduct of failing to do something. Just like if you or me, everybody showering, we're not going to go there. But I'm just saying, let's say there was enough significant amount of time to warrant, flies are starting to, be attracted to you, buzzards, things are coming off of you, you're contaminating places and spaces, and it's, in some cases you may even get germs, and depending on how long this goes on, okay, the longevity of it, then possible rashes, possible infections. There's so much over time, depending. That's just a natural, I'm saying it delicately and respectfully for a reason, because it's just a natural byproduct of something neglected. So over time, there's going to be, it's not because, oh, that must mean they must have, she must have, he must have, no, it is simply a natural occurrence of what happens if somebody decides for 3 months straight to not shower, or put no water to no part of their body. So from a vibration, and what else is that going to create? Well, there's gonna draw in more of it, huh? Again, is it a judgment? It can't be a judgment. It's an observation. Just like when you go to the park or a barbecue outdoors, and you got the trash, you got the barbecue plates, you got all the juice, the ice cream, it's all piled up. That bad boy is attracting in, not because it's evil. So energetic hygiene is no different than physical. We have been trained that way. Many of us don't believe until somebody that your programming tell you to believe because they said it. Until then. We don't believe that. We think it's just physical. Many of us can relate to going to get, those of us who have this thing about when you have a car, it's something about going to get your car washed. It's something about a good, thorough car wash, detailing, gas tank full, oil change. I don't know if it's a psychological or what, but there's something to be said about it's saying to feel the vibe, right? So we can all attest to natural stuff in this physical form. You clean up your room, you clean up your house. I mean, all those things are related to energy too, by the way. But even beyond that, energetic work beyond orderliness. Addressing the energy accumulation, the accumulated loosh. You have arguments, you have fights. That's energy, baby. But nobody told us this. We didn't go to college and find out. They didn't tell us this in elementary school, junior high school, college, church. They didn't tell us none of that. It's not a permanent station. It's not me going to a metaphysical store and buying all these cool things that are beautiful and great and has potential to serve. It's not just about me going and gathering a bunch of crystals, or me going and getting a bunch of sage bundles even. It's about me making a conscious disciplinary choice, understanding that I'm colliding with the world daily. If I have children, my children are colliding with the world daily. If there's traffic to come into your space, that's the energy we're colliding daily. Whatever was already there prior to you, there's an accumulation. There's all of that. With intention, addressing vibratory things. Like I said, just life. Okay, you had a fight with your hubby, your wifey. It was energetically charged. It was negative. It was hostile. It was aggressive. It was violent. That's energy. We need to catch up to that. That is energy. That is a vibration. That has a resonance. It also has a residue. This is why people feel some kind of way. Want to bring it home stuff. Have you ever, especially for sensitives out there, maybe not so much for those who aren't, but for whoever you are out there, have you ever, you walked into a room and you was not in the room. You have no knowledge. But the room feels strange for some reason. It ain't because there's nothing displaying anything, but there's because it's still an energy. It's not a good or bad, a judgment, a better than, a less than, a superior to. It is, the same way when you feel like your black ass and your white ass or your brown ass or your medium ass or your green ass or your yellow, whatever your ass color is, just like when you feel like it's an observation, you perceive it, that it dieth on armpits, bitch, it smelleth like onion. You don't go through a big moral apocalypse. It's okay. I perceive. And sometimes, if some of us are paying attention, we could attest to, what is it about you feel better after taking a shower? What is it with that? What is it with that? Outside, okay, your skin is clean. Okay, but more than that. Especially if these are intentional mindful practice with, certain elements of earth and all that stuff to get to the parasitic, shits that we're accumulating. That's because that's been a clearing. You clean out your garage. You clean out. We can all admit and say, it feels okay. From an energy space, when you bring that side of it and address that side of it, it's the same. Backbiting. Yeah, we can have all the secrets we want, but it's still crystal clear in the universe. holding the resonance. It's holding energetic debris, if you will. And some folks, you know, myself, my son, and me, like this, you're more sensitive, which means you may require, until you get your biofilm in the state, you might require maybe more cleaning than others. That's true of everything too. You know, somebody may not require as much or as little. It's you. And all of this also helps us understanding it's not a final permanent station. It helps us to realize that get off your high horse, bitch. Okay, come on down, bitch. Come on down. Get off your high horse, honey. Get off your high horse, nigga. Come on down. It helps us to come down. It do. When you realize, like, hey, I don't give a fuck what class you took. Bitch. Okay, you've been doing this for 1,000 years until your black ass is no longer in this here assimilation. You subject to everything as everybody else. Flawed in a good sense, not in a way that serves consumerism to make you buy more shit, and just in the human way. Can't be on top of it all the damn time. It just can't be done. It can't be done. If you're not in a monastery, totally 100% disconnected. When I say totally, I mean totally, bitch. Hiding off in some dark cave singing, you know, the shit like on Martin. Naji Ramba, Naji. Like, you know what I'm saying? Got pressure. We all got pressures. We all have something, you know, and people who got a lot, I mean, all the more. Good God. All the more. Because, you know, having 1,000 things pull, you know what I'm saying? Everybody who's bound to snap, shit, anybody's bound to snap some kind of way. And that's just, like I said, like I've been trying to communicate since it's a lot of people's favorite thing to intentionally misunderstand. Our thresholds are different, but sometimes I believe that some of us, we think we got a strong threshold, but maybe we don't. Maybe it comes out. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like that explosion is something, and somebody's going to be on the receiving end of it if we don't have something in place that we're consciously making the mindful decision as a practice. And even then, even when we do, we're not going to do it perfectly 100%, but I can guarantee you it's a hell of a lot more, you know, healthier, mature, balance than it is without it at all. It makes us better versions of ourselves with no judgment on ourselves and each other. Helps us to be more compassionate people, empathetic people. You know, it goes beyond the scripture reading of Corinthians and Ephesians. Oh yeah, you talk to somebody and you know what you're talking about. That's what you hear. Some of my favorite scriptures, and a lot most common favorite scriptures that are referenced. Rarely live. Rarely embodied. Because it sure ain't convenient, sure ain't easy. You don't have it perfect. But as I said, the practice is far greater than not doing it at all. Saying things like love is, isn't that some of the most world-renowned references? Love is. And when we say love is, then there should be some kind of connotation and understanding. You'll get that when you do the mindfulness practice of what it ain't. But for us to make the connection of what it ain't manifest, we have to practice something to be able to what? Properly evaluate it, huh? Otherwise, you just got a bunch of words. Love is patience, kindness, meekness. Everybody can regurgitate those words just like you go to kindergarten and you learn the ABCs. Separate from any subscription to religious or spiritual philosophical bents, this stuff actually applies when you come from energy, states of being. Doesn't matter the station of life or the subscription or whatever. It's you here, your black ass. Do I get? You hear? Simplify, simplify, simplify. You, me, we all. Gosh, and the sun just being dead smack in my face when I said that. We all, like through whatever the kind of tree is, willow tree, palm tree. We all have spiritual, energetic, self-knows blindness. We all, on some level. Some of us may have it more pronounced. It all varies, but at the end of the day, we all do. Checks and balances external to us is insufficient and potentially dangerous. Because what the motherfucker that you relying on, what's they fucking, how you, what if they shit is triggered by your ass and they want to tell you that you need, you know, they activated by you. Ooh, got to be careful with that one. At the end of the day, because you're with you, huh? I'm with me. We're the ones that we can't get away from. We can't always get to whoever our current motherfucker we got on the pedestal for this year. We may not always, you know what I'm saying, be able to get to pastor, first lady, the deacon, the leader of the prayer group, the guru of all gurus. You know, we, you live in life, and they somewhere hopefully living theirs. It's you with you. Because you, me, I, we live with every move we make, every decision, every step we take. With all due respect to anyone who talks to us, including y'all here and me, with all due respect. You're playing out your life. You see behind closed doors. You know the things that no one else does. You know what I'm saying? It's you. Somebody gonna say, because I just referenced sitting outside and with the sun and the trees and stuff. Somebody gonna say, shit, bitch, I already know. Shit, too hot, your ass. In Vegas, yes, I am. Where hell heat is. My son is out here. You know, it's covered. It's not like all together with y'all think. It's still hot. You know, you can't get away from that. You can cover it all you want. Okay, you can't get away from the hot. Okay, it's definitely and certainly hot. But our current living situation is as it is. Okay, my son is differently able to. Our guys know about that. All the things that come with that, and even naturally. So he's often trying to find space alone, okay? And even I get on his nerves, okay? Sometimes. And so it's not that we're being forced. Nobody's forcing us anywhere, but we don't have our own space. And, you know, with all due respect, you know, folks want to be able to do their house. And so our space or our sleeping space is not our own. It's community. So we find delight then in, you know, you make it, what's the saying? You make it do what it do. Me having to love nature, it kind of ends up working out. But you know, it is hot. You're right. It is hot. But shit, maybe I can sweat and detox. Look, see? Half full, half empty. Which one is it going to be? Perception. Choice. I can choose. See how this works? That was created. But it's also true. It's not a lie. It's true. We weren't even made to be sitting up in four walls, actually. The reason why the four walls work is if you're in a land called Hellbeat Desert. Okay, but technically, humans can stand to come outside a little bit more. We'll be less mad, less aggravated. We can stand to let ourselves get a little bit of, you know, a little bit more, all of us. Because, I mean, it's nature. We're a part of it. It's something to do about fresh air. It's something to do with being connected with the green outside. Something to be said of all that, with the biofield. Especially when it's mindful and it's not distracted with a lot of other background noise. You know, it's, you know, decompress, cleanse, come to the self. Anywho, I'm gonna stop being silly. Love and light to all honorable beings out there, benevolent beings out there. This is it. These are some of the supreme lessons I have learned, and I'm continuing to learn along the way. It's not there's no permanent station. You don't take a course. No permanent station. It's like, I got my master's degree. Okay, you got your master's degree in that, but you do nothing with it. You don't continue your educational credits and stay refreshed and stuff, then, you know, it's still, you just got a certificate. And nowadays, because of technology, you can pay people to do it for you. Oh, come on, y'all. Don't be like that. You always be nagging. Don't be like that. Listening to content. And I come from hustlers. The world. Come on. People have their reasons, so we not here to judge all that. That ain't where I'm at. That's not this video. Okay? Folks, actually, like I said, life. 1,000 things. 1,000 trillion. This crazy shit to be sitting up studying old school. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Got jobs and shit. I mean, I'm just saying, that's the rationale that people, that they land there to pay people, is something along the lines of that. Ain't nobody got no time. It's something along the lines of that. But here's the point that I'm making. It's just a certificate. It's just, it means nothing. The world we live in, when people are relying on the system as it is, of course, it can provide you open doors based on that. No doubt. That's a solid. But the point that I'm making is, it means nothing. That person is not embodying the you see what I'm trying to say? Per se. I used to make this joke, and then I'm gonna go. I used to make this joke that I could come on here and say I'm a doctor. That I can self-proclaim myself. I can self-proclaim myself to be a doctor. I can go on ChatGPT, Google, AI, whatever it is nowadays, and I can, you know, get in all of the garb and all of the terms and all of the lingo. I can go print me up a fake licensure. I can do all the things, talk the talk, and maybe even study to a degree. Not really so much study, but I can pass myself off as. But am I really embodying? Am I as rich or adept as someone who actually did? Doesn't mean I'm bad. It just means that whoever authentically, sincerely, and wholeheartedly, that they carry a different imprint than I do. It's legit. When you talk to them, you're not just talking to somebody who just grabbed a couple of statements off of the internet. You're talking to somebody who actually knows what the fuck. Okay? That's the, you know what I'm saying? That's the difference. How does that tie into everything? Well, we're talking about mindfulness and a choice, a disciplinary choice. That's the difference between it all. A copy and paste of something versus a life. A practice. A wholehearted, sincerely intended, albeit imperfect. All right, guys. I gotta go get my son somewhere. I'm trying to keep him hydrated. and myself, you know, because I mean, you're gonna be thirsty anyway. But when you're sitting outside, it is natural to be more thirsty. It's not a big deal, but it's natural though. Oh, and I just saw a hummingbird. See, this is my point. I'm here seeing birds fly. I saw a hummingbird. I love hummingbirds, but I am thirsty, and my thirst is increasing because of it being hot. Okay, but again, you know, he and I can go in whenever we want. So I don't need nobody out there going on some extra to the left shit. That ain't where I'm at. Okay? Alright guys, so all y'all out there, take care of yourself, be grounded, be practical, do the best you can from where you're at, and understand this thing. I don't care what folks is making it look like out here in these here Americas and these here streets. Try to make you feel some kind of way. It's a practice. And it's just as imperfect as the simulation as our life as we know it here. But it's a mindful and intentional practice, and this helps us to be our better versions. It helps us to be our most authentic self. It helps us to keep up, you know, the clearing. It's not about work, 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 do, do, do. It's about the name of the game of where we are. Until our consciousness, now that's another video that's even more involved, okay, and in depth, and it's not going to be like that, because now we're going into some other deep places, the scripting, that stuff that's hard baked in our spinal fluid, stuff that is hard baked in our DNA and our RNA, in the body that's stored, okay, so yeah, and see, and so the maintenance is to help us to hopefully also be able to navigate through all of that, because that is behind most of the cycles. All right guys, gotta go.